I always thought betrayal would come like thunder loud, dramatic, impossible to ignore. But for me, it came in whispers and laughter. In the sound of a voice I loved mixing with the voice of the one person I trusted most. I stood in the hallway of Adrian's apartment, holding the keys he had given me, a smile on my lips because I wanted to surprise him. My heart raced, not from fear, but from excitement. I wanted to see his face when I walked in. I wanted him to say, "I missed you." But then I heard Clara's laugh. My best friend. My sister in everything but blood. "Adrian," she whispered. "What if she finds out?" His reply sliced through me like glass. "She won't. She's too blind. She thinks you're her friend, and she thinks I love her." My breath caught in my throat. My hand shook around the keys. I should have run. But instead, I pushed the door open. They froze. His shirt half open, her lipstick smeared across his mouth. I couldn't breathe. "Adrian," I whispered. My voice was so soft I barely heard it myself. His eyes widened, then narrowed. "Why are you here?" I blinked at him. "Why am I here? I'm your fiancé. This is supposed to be my home too." Clara stood, clutching the sheet to her chest. "Listen, this isn't what it looks like." I laughed, broken and sharp. "Then what is it, Clara? Tell me what it looks like, because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're in my bed with my future husband." She flinched. "I didn't mean. I stepped forward, trembling. "Didn't mean to kiss him. Didn't mean to sleep with him. Didn't mean to stab me in the back after everything I've done for you." Adrian stood, buttoning his shirt like nothing had happened. "Stop being dramatic. You were never enough for me. Not the way Clara is." His words crushed me. I shook my head, tears burning. "I gave you everything. My love, my trust, my future. And that's the problem," he said coldly. "You gave me everything, but you had nothing to make me. Want it, Clarash? Makes me feel alive. You just make me feel trapped." Clara's lips trembled. "Please don't hate me. I didn't plan this. It just happened." "Don't hate you," I choked. "I trusted you more than anyone. I told you my fears, my secrets, and you used them against me." Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry. I laughed again, bitter and hollow. "You're sorry because I caught you, not because you did it." Adrian sighed, impatient. "Are you done? Because honestly, I don't care about your tears. You'll cry yourself dry and then you'll move on. That's what weak people do." I stared at him. The man I thought I knew. The man I thought would be my husband. His face was hard, cold, like a stranger's. "You don't love me?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. He shrugged. "I never did. Not really." "You were convenient." My chest ached, like my heart was splitting open. "Then why propose to me? Why let me dream?" "'Cause I thought it would work," he said flatly. But then Clara reminded me what passion felt like. With you, it was duty. With her, it's desire. Clara whispered. "Please stop. You're hurting her," he smirked. "She needs to hear the truth. Maybe then she'll stop clinging to a fantasy." I pressed a hand against the wall to keep from falling. My knees trembled. My world was collapsing. "Adrian," I whispered, tears blurring my vision, "you destroyed me." "No," he said, cruel and calm. "You destroyed yourself by believing someone like me could ever love someone like you." The silence that followed was suffocating. Only my ragged breathing filled the room. Finally, I straightened. My hands were shaking, but my voice found strength. "You think I'll cry forever, don't you? Do you think I'll beg you to come back?" He smirked. "You will. You always do." Clara's voice trembled. "Please, let's stop fighting. Maybe we can know." I cut her off. Not anymore. "I don't know who you are, Clara, but you're not my friend. You're just another liar." Her tears spilled. "I didn't mean for this to happen." I laughed through my sobs. "You meant every second." Don't pretend otherwise. Adrian crossed his arms. Are you finished? Because honestly, I don't have time for this melodrama. I stared at him one last time. The man I once thought was my everything now looked so small, so pitiful. I don't know who you are, I whispered. But you're not the man I loved. You're just a coward hiding behind someone else's lipstick. His eyes narrowed. Careful, or what? I snapped, surprising even myself. You've already taken everything from me. There's nothing left to lose. The room went silent. I felt my heart breaking, but beneath the cracks was something else, something sharp, something dangerous. I turned to Clara. I hope he treats you the way he treated me. I hope every word he used to cut me apart eventually cuts you too. Sobs filled the room. I walked to the door, my legs unsteady but moving. Adrian's voice followed me. You'll regret this. He'll come crawling back. I didn't turn around. No, one day you'll be the one crawling, and I'll be the one watching. The door slammed behind me, and with it, the life I thought I had. That was the night my world shattered. The night I buried who I used to be. The days after felt like I was walking through smoke, choking on the ashes of who I used to be. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Every call from my family like another match pressed to my skin. Pick up, my mother said when I finally answered. Her voice was sharp. Why are you hiding? Everyone's talking. I can't face them. I whispered. You can't stay in bed forever, she snapped. Shh, Adrian was a mistake. Fine, but stop acting like your life is over. My life is over, I said, voice trembling. Don't you understand? He was everything to me. And Clara, isn't worth your tears, she cut in. You're embarrassing yourself. Her words stung more than Adrian's. I was left at the altar. Mom, do you know how humiliating that is? You let it humiliate you? You're stronger than this, but you refuse to be. I wanted comfort, but all I got was blame. My father called next. His tone wasn't sharp, was disappointed. You should have seen it coming, he said quietly. How could I? My voice cracked. She was my best friend. He was the man I loved. Love blinds people, he replied. You should have been wiser. So it's my fault now, I asked. He sighed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to grow from this, not collapse. But I had already collapsed. I lay on the floor of my apartment, surrounded by unopened wedding gifts. I pressed my face into the carpet and whispered to no one, what did I do wrong? Memories clawed at me. Adrian laughing as he promised forever. Clara holding my hand, as she swore she'd never betray me. Their voices blended into one cruel echo. I grabbed my phone again, my fingers shaking. I dialed Clara, though I hated myself for it. She answered with a whisper. Why are you calling me? Why did you do it? My voice broke. Tell me, Clara, what did I do to deserve this? You didn't do anything, she said. Just happened. Don't lie to me, I begged. You planned it. I swear. I didn't mean for it to go this far. You didn't mean? I laughed bitterly. You destroyed me, Clara. You took everything I loved, and now you want me to believe it was an accident. Her silence was worse than words. Finally, she whispered, I'm sorry. I hung up. I couldn't breathe. Sorry meant nothing. Sorry was ashes in my mouth. Later, my brother came over, sat on the edge of my bed, watching me like I was fragile glass. You've been crying for days, he said softly. What else am I supposed to do? I muttered. Stand up, he said. You can't let them win. They already won. Adrian has her. I have nothing. You still have yourself. I shook my head. I don't even know who I am without him. Without her, they were my whole world. Then build a new world, he said firmly. You're stronger than this. I'm not, I whispered. I'm weak. That's why he left me. Don't say that. His jaw tightened. He left because he's a coward. And Clarushi's selfish. That's not your weakness. That's their betrayal. Tears slid down my face. But what if they're right? What if I wasn't enough? He leaned closer. Then they're fools for not seeing how much you gave. You were too much, not too little. His words should have healed me, but instead they hollowed me out. If I was too much, why did it still feel like I was nothing? That night, I stared at the ceiling in the dark. My chest hurt from crying, my throat raw. I whispered to the shadows, "What's wrong with me? Why wasn't I enough to stay? Why wasn't I enough to love?" No answer came. Only silence, heavy and suffocating. I thought about the day Adrian proposed, how I had cried from joy. I thought about the night Clara swore she'd never betray me. Every memory now was a knife, twisting deeper. I curled into myself, gripping my pillow. I hate you, Adrian. Hate you, Clara. I hate me most of all. In the distance, I could still hear Adrian's words echoing, "You'll cry yourself dry and then you'll move on." That's what weak people do. And maybe he was right. Maybe I was weak. But as I lay there, broken and drowning in the ashes of myself, a thought sparked. Quietly, stubbornly, maybe weakness wasn't the end, okay? Maybe it was the beginning. The day I once dreamed of came anyway. The flowers bloomed, the hall glittered, the guests arrived. But there was no wedding, only a funeral for my love. A burial for the woman I used to be. I stood at the edge of the aisle, my hands trembling. Whispering voices surrounded me. "Poor thing," someone murmured. "She should have canceled everything." Another said, "Can you imagine the shame?" I clenched my fists. I wanted to disappear, but instead I forced myself to walk forward. My cousin caught my arm. "Why are you here? You don't need to torture yourself." "I need to see it," I said flatly. "I need to burn it into my memory so I'll never forget what they took from me." The guests stared as if I were a ghost. And maybe I was Dot at the front where I should have stood in a white dress. Clara laughed beside Adrian. She wore red. Bold, shameless, blazing red. Adrian leaned down and kissed her hand. My stomach twisted. I walked closer. My aunt hissed at me. "Don't make a scene. A scene." I whispered bitterly. "This whole day is a scene. I'm just the corpse." In it, Adrian noticed me then. His smirk spread slowly. "You came." I swallowed hard. "Of course I did. Supposed to be my wedding day." Clara's smile faltered. "Maybe you shouldn't be here." "Why not?" I snapped. This was meant for me. The flowers, the lights, the vows. All of it. Adrian chuckled. "You really don't get it, do you? It was never going to work. You were a placeholder." My chest burned. "A placeholder. For her." "For someone better," he said coldly. Gasps echoed through the crowd. Clara tugged his sleeve. "Adrian, stop." "No," I whispered. "Let him speak. Let everyone hear what I was to him." He looked at me like I was nothing. "You were safe, predictable, boring. Clara makes me feel alive." My knees nearly buckled, but I forced myself to stand taller. "And yet you needed me until the last moment. You needed my devotion until you found a shinier toy." Clara's face flushed. "Please, don't talk like that." "Like what?" I asked. "Like the betrayed bride. Like the best friend who was stabbed in the back. How should I talk? Clara, tell me." She opened her mouth, but no words came. I turned to the crowd. "You all came here for a wedding. Instead, you're watching a burial. Today, I bury every dream I had with him. Today, I buried the girl who believed in loyalty and friendship." Whispers rose louder, sharp as knives. My mother grabbed my hand, her nails digging into my skin. "Enough. You're humiliating yourself." "Oh?" I said, pulling free. "I'm telling the truth. That humiliates me, so be it." Adrian laughed again, cruel and careless. "You'll never move on. You'll keep crying about me until the end of your life." I stared at him, my tears hot, but my voice steady. "Maybe I will cry. Maybe I'll break. But one day, Adrian, you'll choke on the memory of what you lost." And Clara, I turned to her. One day you'll realize you stole nothing. Worth keeping? Her lips trembled. That's not fair. Fair. I almost laughed. Nothing about this is fair. But fairness doesn't matter anymore. Only truth does. The crowd was silent now, eyes fixed on me like they were witnessing something raw, something forbidden. I took a shaky breath. This was supposed to be my beginning. Instead, it's my end. But every ending is also the start of something else. So let today be my funeral. Let me bury my love here with all of you as witnesses. Clara whispered, please, don't hate me forever. I looked at her one last time. I don't hate you. Hate is for someone I still care about. I feel. Nothing for you now. That's worse, isn't it? Her tears spilled, but I didn't wait for her answer. Adrian sneered. Run along then. Cry in your corner like always. Kai met his gaze. No, not this time. I'm done crying for you. From now on, every tear I shed will be for myself, not for a man who never deserved me. And with that, I turned walking. Back down the aisle that was supposed to lead me to love, but instead carried me to freedom. Behind me, the whispers grew louder. But I didn't care anymore. That day, I buried my love. And with it, I buried the girl who would have died for him. I thought I had forgotten how to breathe without pain. Everywhere I went, eyes followed me, some filled with pity, others with judgment. I hated both. That's why I chose a quiet cafe at the edge of the city, hoping no one would recognize me. But someone did. Not the way others did, not with pity or whispers. His gaze was sharp, steady, like he was dissecting me and finding something worth seeing. Excuse me, he said, stopping. At my table? Is this seat taken? I looked up, startled. There are plenty of empty tables. He smiled faintly. Yes, but none of them have you sitting across from them. My chest tightened. That's a terrible line. Maybe, he said, sliding into the chair without permission, but it worked, didn't it? I glared. Who are you, Damien? His tone was calm, self-assured. And you? You already know who I am, I muttered. Everyone does. Ah, the runaway bride. Betrayed by her groom and her friend. That's the story, isn't it? I froze. So you came here to mock me? On the contrary, he said smoothly. I came because I was curious. Everyone else looks at you like you're broken. I wanted to see if you actually are. Anger flared in me. And what do you see? He leaned back, studying me. I see a woman still alive, even when she thinks she's dead inside. My throat tightened. Don't pretend you understand me. I don't, he admitted. But I'd like to. Silence stretched between us. I stared at his expensive suit, his confident posture. The way his eyes didn't soften with pity, but burned with something sharper. You should leave, I said finally. Why? Because I don't need another stranger reminding me of my humiliation. He tilted his head. I didn't say you were humiliated. I said you were alive. There's a difference. I laughed bitterly. Alive. My whole world is gone. Good, he said. I blinked. Good. Yes, when the old world burns down, you get to build a new one, stronger, better. My hands trembled around my coffee cup. You speak as if it's easy. I never said it was easy, but it's necessary. I narrowed my eyes. Why are you even talking to me? You don't know me. It's because I see potential, he said simply, and because I despise wasted strength. I shook my head. You sound arrogant. Perhaps, he admitted, smiling faintly. But arrogance is often mistaken for clarity. I didn't know how to respond. No one had spoken to me like this since the betrayal. Everyone else either pitied me or told me to be strong. He wasn't doing. Either he was challenging me. You don't even know what I've been through, I whispered. Then tell me, he said. Why? Because speaking it aloud makes it real. And facing it makes you stronger. I clenched my fists. Adrian was my everything. Clara was my family. They both looked me in the eye and destroyed me. And now I don't even know who I am anymore. Damien's gaze didn't waver. Good. Then you're free. Free, I scoffed. I'm chained to their betrayal. No, he said firmly. You're chained to the memory of who you thought you were. That version of you died. You get to choose who rises from the ashes. His words pierced me. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Why do you even care? Because I like seeing people prove everyone else wrong, he said softly. And something tells me you're capable of that. My heart pounded. You don't know me. Not yet, he said with a smirk. Silence hung again, heavy but charged. I hated that part of me wanted to believe him. You think I can just forget? I asked quietly. No, he said. You'll never forget, but you can decide what to do with the memory. Will it bury you, or will you bury them? His words made me shiver. You talk like revenge. Revenge, he said calmly, is just another word for balance. They took from you, take back. I shook my head. I don't want to be like them. Then be better, he said. Not weaker. Better. For the first time in weeks, I felt something flicker inside me. Not joy, not hope exactly, but a spark. I whispered, what if I fall again? He leaned closer, his voice low. Then fall forward. Least you'll know you were moving. Stared at him, unable to look away. You really don't pity me, do you? Kay smiled. Pity is for the dying. You're not dead. You're just beginning. My chest ached, but this time it wasn't from despair. It was from something dangerous, something alive, for the first time. I wondered if maybe, just maybe, I wasn't finished yet. The mirror didn't lie, never had. I stood in front of it, gripping the edges of the sink, staring at the stranger staring back. My eyes were hollow, my skin pale, my lips trembling. My reflection looked like someone who had been dragged through fire but never escaped the smoke. I whispered to her, "Who are you?" The reflection said nothing, only mirrored my brokenness. Damien's words replayed in my head, sharp as knives. "You are worth more than begging scraps from traitors," I muttered. Am I? The silence was suffocating. I slammed my hand against the sink. Answer me. My voice cracked. Tell me I'm not just this. The reflection wavered in the glass, tears threatening to spill from her eyes. Pathetic, I spat at her. You begged Adrian to love you. You clung to Clara because you thought she made you whole. You begged for scraps and called it love. The woman in the mirror didn't fight back. She just stood there, weak, fragile, broken. I hate you. I whispered. I hate what you've become. But the truth stung. I wasn't yelling at her. I was yelling at myself. Damien's voice echoed again. It's unyielding. When the old world burns down, you get to build a new one. Stronger, better. I gripped the counter tighter. Stronger, better. Look at me. I can barely breathe without choking on my own shame. The mirror offered no comfort. You let Adrian define you, I accused myself. Every word he said, every touch, every promise, you lived for him. Without him, you don't even know how to exist. My chest tightened as the memory surfaced his smile, his whispered vows, his hand holding mine under the stars. All of it lies. And Clara, I whispered bitterly. You worshipped her loyalty, trusted her more than anyone. You didn't? See the knife in her hand until it was already in your back? A sob escaped me, raw and jagged. You're weak. You're nothing without them. That's the truth. But even as the words left my mouth, Damien's voice cut through like steel. I despise wasted strength. I pressed my palm against the mirror, staring into my own hollow eyes. Then prove him wrong. Prove me wrong. The reflection trembled. With me, silent but accusing. I don't know how, I whispered. I don't know where to start. The memory of Damien leaning closer, his voice low and certain, echoed in my head, then fall forward. At least you'll know you were moving. I closed my eyes, breathing shallowly. Maybe moving is better than rotting. Opening my eyes again, I studied the reflection with a new kind of hatred, not the kind that destroyed, but the kind that demanded change. You're right, I said to her. You're weak. But weakness doesn't have to be permanent. I straightened my shoulders, though they trembled under the weight. You begged Adrian to see you. You begged Clara to stay. No more begging, no more scraps. My reflections. Eyes glistened, but they seemed sharper somehow, less hollow. You want their approval? I asked myself. You'll never get it. And why should you? They threw you away. They didn't see your worth. But maybe you can. Damien's words echoed again. Pity is for the dying. You're not dead. You're just beginning. I wiped my tears roughly with the back of my hand. Fine, beginning, but how do I start? Reflection tilted her head with me, silent, waiting. I start by not lying to myself. I said slowly, I was weak. I depended on them. I let them control me. I let love blind me. But I'm still here. The truth settled in my chest, heavy but grounding. I'm still here, I repeated louder, a voice shaking but certain. For the first time, the words didn't sound like desperation. They sounded like defiance. I leaned closer to the mirror. You're not worthless. You're not nothing. You're broken. Yes, but broken things can be rebuilt. Stronger, sharper. The reflection seemed to challenge me now, daring me to believe it. My voice dropped to a whisper. You're worth more than scraps. Tears spilled freely down my cheeks, but this time they weren't just grief. They were release. I stared hard at the reflection. You don't need Adrian. You don't need Clara. You don't need anyone to tell you who you are. Silence followed, but it wasn't suffocating anymore. It was waiting. Damien's words lingered, unrelenting. You get to choose who rises from. The ashes. I inhaled shakily. Then I choose me. The reflection blinked back at me, still fragile, still fractured, but alive. And for the first time since the night my world shattered. I didn't look away. The job interview room smelled of coffee and paper. My hands trembled as I clutched my resume, and I kept telling myself, you can do this. You have to. Tell me. The interviewer said, why should we hire you? My throat tightened. Words clung to my tongue like lead. I stammered, because I'm willing to work hard to learn. Her eyes flickered with impatience. Everyone says that. What makes you different? Different. Once I would have said Adrian's fiancé, Clara's loyal friend, defined by others. Now I had nothing left to hide behind. My mouth opened, but the silence stretched too long. The interview ended with a polite smile. But I saw the dismissal in her eyes. When I walked out into the cold, air failure sat heavy on my shoulders. Pathetic, I muttered to myself. You couldn't even answer one question, finally admitting it. Damien's voice cut in from behind. I froze, then turned. He leaned against a sleek black car, arms crossed, eyes sharp. Why are you here? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Because you're flailing, he said. And because watching you drown without even trying to swim is infuriating. Did try? I snapped. He arched a brow. Did you? Or did you beg for approval again? I clenched my fists. Not begging. Then what do you call that performance? He asked coolly. You went in there asking to be chosen, not showing why they should need you. His words stung, but deep down I knew he was right. You make it sound so easy, I muttered. It's not easy, he said, stepping closer. But stop hiding behind excuses. You think weakness is permanent? It's not. It's a choice. You either stand or you kneel. I swallowed hard. What if I fall? Then fall forward, he said. At least you moved. I glared at him. But the words burrowed deep. You think I'm just weak? I think you've been weak, he corrected. But I wouldn't waste my time on someone without potential. I blinked at him. Why do you even care? His lips curved in a half smile. Because watching someone refuse to rise when they could burn brighter than the ones who betrayed them? That's intolerable. The words made something in my chest ache. I don't know how to be that person. Then learn, he said simply. Stop asking the world to give you worth. Start demanding it. I exhaled shakily. And if I fail again? Then stand up again, he said. His gaze pinned me. Or stay crawling forever. Your choice. I looked down at the pavement, my reflection warped in a puddle, crawling. That's what I had been doing all this time. I don't want to crawl anymore. I whispered. Good, Damien said, satisfaction in his tone. Then prove it. Prove it? How? I asked, lifting my eyes to him. Start small, he said. Go to another interview. And this time, stop asking them to believe in you. Make them. The idea terrified me. But under the fear, a spark flickered. I met his eyes. And if I can't, then you'll keep trying until you can, he said bluntly. 'Cause the only other option is giving up. And you're not dead yet. I laughed bitterly. You're cruel. No, he said. I'm honest. Cruelty would be letting you wallow while telling you you're fine. The honesty cut deep, but it also felt liberating. I straightened. My shoulder's fine. I'll try again. His eyes narrowed as if testing the weight of my words. Then try like someone who knows she's worth more than scraps. The next week, I sat in another interview chair. My pulse pounded, but Damien's voice echoed in my head. Stop asking. Start demanding. Why should we hire you? The man across the desk asked. I met his eyes. This time my voice didn't tremble. Because I don't quit. I've fallen. But I've learned, I know, betrayal, loss, and failure. I'm still here. That makes me stronger than most. For a moment, silence. Then he smiled, intrigued. When I stepped out of the building afterward, I breathed in the air like it was the first time in years. My hands shook, but not from fear this time. From exhilaration, Damien was waiting again, leaning against his car like he owned the world. His lips curved when he saw me. Better. I didn't get the job yet, I said. That's not the point, he replied. For once you stood. I swallowed hard. It felt different. That's because it was, he said. I hesitated, then asked softly, do you think I can really change? His eyes burned into mine. You already are. The words lodged in my chest, heavy but warm. I looked at him, really looked, and whispered, thank you. He smirked. Don't thank me yet. This is only the beginning. The rest is on you. For the first time, I didn't shrink under his gaze. I stood taller, breathing deeper, believing just a little that maybe he was right. The cafe bell chimed as I stepped inside, the aroma of roasted beans wrapping around me like armor. I wore confidence the way I once wore shame, visible, deliberate, impossible to ignore. My heels clicked across the floor as if they announced, a version of me Adrian and Clara never expected to meet again. Their laughter reached me first, familiar, grating. I turned, and there they were sitting side by side, as if the universe had staged this encounter for me. Adrian's smile faltered. The moment he saw me, Clara's eyes widened before narrowing, the smugness draining from her lips. Well, Adrian said finally, this ice unexpected. I tilted my head. Is it? Cities are small. Cable bump into each other. Clara forced a laugh. Some people try to avoid certain places. I smiled, sharp and steady. And some people think the world will protect them from consequences. Adrian cleared his throat, his gaze flicking over me. You look different. Alive. I offered. His jaw tightened. I didn't say that? No, I said, leaning slightly forward, but you thought it? Can see it in your face. Clara scoffed. You sound proud of yourself for, what, getting dressed up for coffee? I glanced at her, letting silence stretch. Then I smiled. Faintly, funny, that tone like you're still trying to convince yourself I should feel small. Does it bother you that I don't? Her lips parted. words stuck in her throat. Adrian shifted in his seat. You don't have to act like this. We know you. We know what you went through. I straightened. No, you know who I was when you broke me, not who I am now. Clara crossed her arms, her voice sharp. People don't just change overnight. Right? I said softly. They don't. It takes months of bleeding, screaming, and crawling out of graves others dug. But change happens, and here I am. Adrian's expression cracked, guilt bleeding through the arrogance. We didn't mean don't, I interrupted. Don't dress betrayal as an accident. You meant every choice. You meant every kiss stolen, every lie told. Own it. His mouth snapped shut. The silence between us swelled, thick and suffocating. For once, I wasn't the one drowning in it. Clara leaned closer to Adrian, her voice icy. She's trying to make us feel guilty. Let out a quiet laugh. No, Clara, I'm not trying to make you feel anything. I don't need your guilt anymore. That was my prison once, not now. Adrian's hand curled into a fist. So, what do you want from us? Nothing, I said firmly. That's the point. I don't want apologies. I don't want explanations. I don't want scraps of remorse. I walked in here free and I'll walk out the same. Clara's lips trembled with frustration. Do you think you're better than us now? I met her eyes, steady and unflinching. No, I know I'm better than who I was with you. That's enough. Adrian shifted again, his voice softer now, almost pleading. You were everything once. A bitter smile touched my lips. Once, yes. And you chose to throw that away. You gave me nothing but ashes, Adrian. But I learned something in the ruins. You can grow even in fire. He inhaled sharply, as if my words cut deeper than I intended. Clara reached for him, her voice defensive. We're happy. That's all that matters. I raised a brow. Then why are you both shaking? Her hand stilled against his dot. The silence broke with the barista calling my order. My name, strong and clear, cut through the tension. I turned toward the counter, then glanced back one last time. Enjoy your coffee, I said. It's the only bitter thing you'll taste today. That isn't me. I walked away, my steps steady, my chest rising with something I hadn't felt in so long. Power. Real, undeniable power. When I left the cafe, sunlight washed over me, warm and blinding. For the first time, I wasn't running from shadows. I was stepping into light of my own making. The whispers reached me before I ever saw their faces again. Did you hear? Adrian's firm is collapsing. Clara's been causing scenes, jealous, possessive, ugly mess. Everywhere I went, pieces of their downfall floated toward me like ash. I should have ignored it, but each word clung to me, pulling me back to a story I thought I had buried. One evening, I sat across from Damien in the quiet corner of a wine bar. He studied me with that sharp gaze that made me feel seen in ways I both craved and feared. You've heard, he said, not asking, but stating. I swirled my glass. Everyone's talking. Adrian's deal's falling apart. Clara fighting shadows no one else sees. His lips curved slightly. And how does it make you feel? I hesitated because honesty tasted both sweet and bitter. I don't know. Part of me, it feels good. Like the universe finally woke up. But another part wants to forgive. He finished for me. I looked at him. Is that weakness? No, he said, leaning closer. That's humanity. Weakness would be crawling back to them. You're not doing that? I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Then why does it feel dirty to enjoy their suffering? Because you're not like them, he replied smoothly. But enjoying justice when it finally arrives. That's not dirty. That's survival. I stared into my wine, the reflection of the candle flame flickering across my face. They're tearing each other apart. Heard Clara? Accused Adrian of still wanting me. Damien chuckled low. That must have stung her pride. It's made me laugh, I admitted. God, I didn't think I could laugh about them again. He tilted his head. Say it out loud then. Admit what you feel. I hesitated, then whispered, "It feels like karma." Louder. He pressed. I raised my eyes to his. "It feels like karma." His smile widened. "Good. Own it." The next day, I ran into an old acquaintance, Maya, at the market. She looked me up and down, surprise flashing in her eyes. "You've heard, haven't you?" she asked. I kept my tone casual. "Depends." "What exactly did you hear?" "That Clara's been showing up at Adrian's office, screaming at his staff that his investors are pulling out." I raised a brow. "Sounds exhausting." Maya leaned closer. "Some people say it's because of you, that he regrets losing you." I blinked. "Regret doesn't build back businesses." "No," she admitted, "but it destroys men when it festers." Her words lingered as I walked home. Regret. Was Adrian drowning in it now? And if he was, why did part of me want to watch while another wanted to turn away? That night, Damien called me. His voice was calm, steady. "What did you hear today?" I sighed. "Same story. Adrian sinking. Clara clawing at him. And people keep saying my name in the middle of it. You didn't put yourself there," he reminded me. "They did." "Doesn't matter," I murmured. "It makes me wonder if forgiveness is possible, or if I even want it." He paused before answering. "Do you?" I pressed the phone closer to my ear, whispering into the silence. "No, not yet." There was satisfaction, yes, but disbelief too. I had once thought Adrian untouchable, Clara invincible. To see them unravel felt unreal, like watching statues crack in slow motion. Days later, as if fate demanded proof, I spotted Adrian across the street. His suit was rumpled, his shoulders slumped. Clara trailed behind him, her voice sharp, cutting the air. "Don't you dare look at her," she snapped, her fingers stabbing toward me. Adrian's eyes flicked to mine, hollow and desperate. "Clara?" Grabbed his arm, yanking him away. Her words a hiss I couldn't catch. I stood frozen, torn between satisfaction and pity. But then Damien's voice echoed in my memory. "You are worth more than begging scraps from traders," and I knew I would not reach out. The universe had taken the role of punisher, and I was only the witness. Later that night, I wrote the words. In my journal, I don't need to destroy them. They're doing it themselves. Karma doesn't need my hands. I closed the book, my chest lighter than it had been in months. I should have seen it coming. Damien never wasted words, never spoke without purpose, and yet when he looked at me across that table, eyes gleaming with something I couldn't quite name. I wasn't prepared for what left his mouth. "Come with me," he said simply. I frowned. "Come with you where?" "Paris first, then Milan. A series of meetings, negotiations, dinners. I want you there beside me." I nearly choked on my drink. "You can't be serious." "Hey?" He leaned back, completely calm. "Do I look like a man who jokes about business?" "Business?" I repeated, my voice sharp with disbelief. "Damien, I'm not." "Not what?" "Huh?" He cut in smoothly. "Not capable, not worthy, or not ready to stop living in the shadow of people who broke you." My pulse quickened. "Don't twist this into some kind of test." "That's exactly what it is," he countered. I shook my head, heat rising in my chest. "I don't belong. In your world, I'd make a fool of myself." He smirked. "You underestimate yourself?" "Again." "Stop," I snapped, though my voice wavered. "You don't understand what it feels like to fall, to trust someone and end up shattered." His gaze locked onto mine, steady and unyielding, then fall again. But this time, let it be into power, not weakness. The words hit me harder than I wanted to admit. "You think it's that easy?" I whispered. "I know it's not easy," he said, "but I also know you'll never grow if you keep clinging to the safety of smallness." I rubbed my temples. I've just started standing again. "You're asking me to run into fire." "I'm asking you to see yourself," he said firmly. "To stand next to me, not behind anyone else. That's the difference." I searched his face for arrogance, for mockery, but found only determination. Why me? I asked finally. You could take anyone. Models, executives, women who already live in that world. He leaned forward, voice low. Because none of them look at me the way you do. None of them challenge me. You don't bend, even when you're afraid. That's rare. I swallowed hard, my defenses wobbling. Did you make it sound like I'd be some kind of weapon at your side? His smile was sharp. Not a weapon, a partner. The word hung between us, heavy, electric. I can't promise you I won't mess up. I admitted softly. Good, he said, because I don't want perfection. I want truth. I want you walking into those rooms with your scars, your fire, your refusal to be invisible. I laughed bitterly. You talk like I'm some kind of storm. You are? He replied without hesitation. I leaned back, my breath uneven. What happens if I say no? Key tilted his head, eyes gleaming. Then I'll respect it. Key. But you'll always wonder what would have happened if you'd said yes. Silence stretched, broken only by the clinking glasses around us. My chest tightened as if I were standing at the edge of a cliff. The wind pushing at my back. Damien, I whispered. I'm scared. Good, he said again. Fear means you care. Fear means this matters. I shook my head, half laughing, half trembling. You make everything sound like destiny. No, he corrected gently. Not destiny. Choice. This is yours. I stared at him, trying to picture myself in Paris, Milan, walking beside him in glittering halls where I would never have dared to step. Me, the woman who once begged for Adrian's approval? Me, the woman who broke in front of Clara's cruel smile. I don't know if I can handle that world, I admitted. Then let me tell you a secret, he said, voice softening. Most of them can't either. They just fake it better. You'll be real, and nothing is more powerful than that. His words sliced through the fog of doubt. Say yes, he murmured. Not for me, for you. I gripped my glass, my knuckles white. And if I fall? He leaned closer, his breath warm against my ear. Then fall into fire and rise with it. Fall into power, not weakness. I closed my eyes, the words circling inside me like a chant. When I opened them again, his gaze was still fixed on mine. Patient but relentless. You're dangerous, I whispered. He smiled slowly. So are you. You just don't believe it yet. I exhaled, long and trembling, then gave the smallest nod. Yes. His smirk widened into something softer, almost satisfied. Good, pack your courage. That's the only luggage you'll need. And just like that, the ground beneath me shifted, for the first time. The fall didn't feel like breaking it, felt like flying. The jet hummed beneath my feet, soft leather swallowing me in comfort I'd never known. I stared out the window, Paris glowing beneath the night. It felt surreal, too. Much too soon, too dangerous. Damien's voice cut through my thoughts. You're quiet, regretting already. I turned to him, trying to mask my nerves. I'm just processing this doesn't feel real, he smirked. Reality is overrated. Tell me what it feels like instead. Like I hesitated. Like a honeymoon. Except there's no ring, no vows. His eyebrow arched. And do you need those things to feel alive? I shook my head quickly. No, it's just strange. I thought honeymoons were for people who survived love, not war. He leaned closer, his voice steady. Sometimes surviving war is the only way to understand love. My chest tightened, and I looked away. You make everything sound poetic. Truth. Often does. I let out a small laugh. You really think dragging me across Europe is truth? Dragging, he chuckled. You said yes. That wasn't chance, it was choice. I sighed. I don't know if I chose courage or madness. Both, he replied easily. But that's what makes it worth it. The jet landed, and soon. Paris surrounded meal lights, spilling over cobblestones. The scent of fresh bread, voices tangled in laughter. It wasn't survival anymore. Was living. At dinner the next evening. The chandelier above us shimmered like liquid gold. Cut. My reflection in the crystal glass. No broken girl. No shadow. Just me. You're staring at yourself, Damien teased. I flushed. I barely recognize her. Good, he said. She's new. She's terrified, I admitted softly. He cut into his steak calmly. Fear doesn't cancel power. It sharpens it. It's easy for you to say, I murmured. Do you think I was born fearless? He asked suddenly. I blinked. Weren't you? His laugh was dry. I was born stubborn. Fear followed me everywhere. Learned to turn it into fuel. I rested my chin on my hand. Can you think I can do the same? I don't think, he said evenly. I know. The conviction in his tone left me speechless. Later, when we walked along the Seine, I whispered, I almost feel like I don't deserve this. He stopped, his gaze pinning me in place. Stop measuring your worth against ghosts. You deserve what you choose to take. I bit my lip. That sounds greedy. Then be greedy, he said. Life doesn't reward the meek. I laughed nervously. You're dangerous for my morals. He corrected, brushing his hand close to mine without touching. Dangerous for your limits. The words burned through me, lighting Place's long dead. In Milan. The tempo shifted fast meetings. Sharper rooms, eyes watching me with curiosity. I felt their judgment, their unspoken. Who is she? At one dinner, a sleek woman leaned across the table. And what do you do? Her tone dripped skepticism. I froze, fumbling for words, but Damien's glance warned me not to shrink. I rebuild, I said finally. She frowned. Rebuild? Yes, I answered firmly. Myself, my life, and maybe one day more than that. The table went silent, then slowly the woman nodded, a flicker of respect in her eyes. When we left, I exhaled shakily. I thought I sounded ridiculous. You sounded real, Damien said, and that's more terrifying to them than any title. On the balcony that night, I whispered, I feel like I'm in someone else's skin. He joined me, leaning against the railing. That's because the old skin doesn't fit anymore. You've outgrown it. I looked at the city lights, my scars burning faintly inside me. Do you ever think about the people we left behind? The ones who hurt us? Studied me. Do you? I nodded slowly. Yes, but not with the same pain. It's like they're fading. Good, he said. Let them fade. You're not chained to them anymore. I swallowed, voice trembling. And what about you? What are you chained to? His eyes darkened. Power. Responsibility. But maybe, for once, I'd like to be chained to choice too. The way he said it made my breath catch. Damien, I whispered. He smirked slightly. Don't overthink it. Just live. And for once, I did. We danced in small cafes where no one knew us. We argued over books in crowded markets. We laughed like teenagers drunk on rebellion. There were no vows, no ceremonies, yet every moment felt like a promise. On the last night, in Rome, I admitted softly, I don't feel broken anymore. He lifted his glass toward me. Because you're not. I smiled, tears stinging. I thought scars meant weakness. No, he said, eyes fierce. Scars mean survival. And survival is power. I whispered back. Then maybe I'm stronger than I ever knew. He leaned closer, his voice low, certain. Not maybe. You are. And as the city hummed beneath us, I realized he was right. This wasn't survival. This was living. This was my life, now my honeymoon without a wedding, my rebirth without permission. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was falling. Felt like I was finally flying. The knock on my door came late, too late for anyone except trouble. My stomach tightened as I opened it and froze. Adrian. He looked nothing like the man I remembered. Suit was wrinkled, his eyes hollow, his pride gone. I need to talk. To you, he whispered. My first instinct was to slam the door, but my hand trembled. Why are you here? Please, he said, voice breaking. Just hear me out. I stepped aside reluctantly, anger and curiosity wrestling inside me. He entered slowly as though afraid the floor itself would reject him. Say it, I demanded. Whatever excuse you rehearsed. He turned, eyes glassy. It's not an excuse. It's the truth. I ruined everything. My company's gone. Clara's gone. And his voice cracked. I'm nothing. I let out a sharp laugh. Nothing. That's rich. You made me feel like nothing for years. He flinched. I know. It's cruel, arrogant, blind, but I see it now. I see what I did to you. You see, I snapped. You mocked me when I cried. You called me weak. And now you show up broken, expecting me to stitch you back together? He dropped to his knees suddenly, head bowed. I'm not expecting anything. I just need forgiveness. The sight of him kneeling before me twisted something deep inside. Once I begged for scraps of his kindness. Now he begged for mine. Get up, I said harshly. He shook his head. Not until you hear me. I loved you. I was too stupid to admit it then, but I did. I destroyed us. And I can't live without knowing if you hate me forever. My chest burned, loved me. You destroyed me. You made sure I believed I'd never survive without you. And yet you did, he whispered. The words silenced me. For a moment I couldn't breathe. He lifted his head, eyes desperate. I see you now, stronger, brighter, untouchable. You don't need me anymore, but I need you to know I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix years of humiliation, I spat. I know, he whispered. But it's all I have. I turned away. Pacing, rage coiled through me, but beneath it's something else. A flicker of satisfaction, of triumph. Karma had stripped him bare, and I was the one left standing. You want forgiveness? I asked finally, my voice low. Yes, he breathed. Please. I faced him again. Do you even understand what you're asking? Forgiveness isn't a bandage. It doesn't erase scars. He nodded quickly. I don't want erasure. I just want peace. To know I'm not a monster in your eyes anymore. I laughed bitterly. A monster asking the one he broke to redeem him. How poetic. His voice shook. I'll take your hatred if that's all you can give. I deserve it. I studied him. It's the once proud man reduced to ash. Part of me wanted to spit, to scream, to crush him under the weight of everything he'd done. Another part whispered, let go. End it here. Do you think forgiveness makes me weak? I asked suddenly. His eyes widened. No, it makes you stronger than I ever was. I walked closer, my steps slow, deliberate. He watched me like a condemned man awaiting judgment. You knelt before me once, Adrian, I said softly. But it was never an apology, only in mockery. Do you remember? His face crumpled. I remember. I hate myself for it. The silence stretched between us. My heart pounded with old wounds, with present power. You don't deserve forgiveness, I whispered. He bowed his head. I know. But maybe, I continued, voice trembling, I deserve peace, and carrying hatred keeps me chained to you. His eyes lifted, hopeful, broken. So you'll forgive me? I stared at him, torn in two. Part of me wanted to say, yes, to free myself completely. Another part wanted to leave him bleeding on the floor of his own ruin. Finally, I said, I don't forgive you. Not yet, maybe not ever. But I release you. You're not mine to hate anymore. His lips parted, trembling. That's more than I deserve. I stepped back, pointing to the door. Go, take your wreckage with you. Slowly, shakily, he rose. Thank you, he whispered. Don't thank me, I said coldly. Thank the woman you tried to bury because she's the reason you're still standing here. He nodded once, tears slipping down his face, and left. When the door closed, I sank into a chair, shaking. Rage still burned, but so did a strange lightness. I hadn't forgiven him, but I hadn't destroyed him either. For the first time, the choice had been mine. His knock came again the next evening. I almost didn't open the door, but curiosity and defiance pulled my hand to the handle. "Why are you back?" asked flatly. Adrian stood there, pale, trembling. "'Cause I can't leave it like this. I need another chance to explain." I crossed my arms. "You already begged. You already cried." "What else could you possibly say?" His lips pressed together. "That I still love you? That losing everything made me realize what mattered? You. Always you." The words struck me like a cold slap, but I didn't flinch. "Love? That's what you call it. Love doesn't mock. Love doesn't humiliate. Love doesn't leave scars." He stepped forward, desperate, stupid, blind. "I know I broke you, but I also know we can rebuild together. Please give me a chance." My chest tightened, but my voice stayed steady. "You think rebuilding means dragging me back into the ruins you created?" "No." His face twisted. "Don't say that. Don't say no. You don't mean it." I laughed bitterly. "You still don't hear me. I do mean it. Never meant anything more." He reached for my hand, but I pulled back sharply. "Don't touch me." "Why not?" he whispered. "You used to crave my touch. I used to crave validation," I shot back. "Not anymore." His shoulders sagged. "Damien, it's him, isn't it?" He replaced me. "This isn't about him," I said firmly. "This is about me. For once, it's about me." Adrian's eyes narrowed, bitter. "You're punishing me." "That's what this is. Punishment would be easy," I said quietly. "But no, Adrian, this is power. Mine, not yours." He shook his head. "You think you're stronger than me now?" "I don't think." I replied, stepping closer. "I know. Because strength isn't control or money or pride. Strength is saying no when every memory begs me to say yes." His lips trembled. "You're really turning your back on everything we had." I met his gaze steadily. "We didn't have anything. I had pain. You had power. That's not love, it's cruelty." He fell silent, staring at the floor. "I used to believe I couldn't live without you," I continued softly. "But I already have. You know what? I've never been more alive." Adrian's voice broke. "Then what am I supposed to do? Where do I go?" I shrugged. "That's not my burden anymore." His eyes pleaded. "Don't walk away, please." My throat tightened, but I forced the words out. "I'm not walking away from you. I'm walking toward myself." He looked so small then, smaller than the shadow of my pain, smaller than the girl I used to be. "You always feared losing me," he muttered bitterly. "And now you have," I said. "But this time it's by my choice." His face twisted. In anguish. "Say you don't hate me." "I don't need to hate you anymore," I whispered. "Hate ties me down. I'm done carrying you." Tears welled in his eyes. "So that's it? After everything?" "Yes," I said firmly. "That's it." The silence that followed felt heavy, final. He swayed slightly, like the weight of my rejection crushed his chest. "You'll regret this." T tried weakly. I shook my head. "No, I'll regret every time I stayed silent. Every time I said yes when my soul screamed no. But this is freedom." His jaw clenched, but he couldn't meet my eyes. "Leave, Adrian," I said, voice steady though my hands trembled. "Go before I remember how much I once begged for you." He staggered back a step. I don't even recognize you anymore." "Good," I said coldly, because I finally recognized myself. He hesitated at the door, searching my face for softness. There was none. "Goodbye," I said firmly. His lips parted, but no words came. He turned, shoulders hunched, and walked out. When the door shut, I pressed my palms against it, shaking. My body trembled, but my voice hadn't, for the first time. I hadn't broken. I whispered into the silence, "No." The word echoed in my chest like thunder, like a vow, saying it hurt, but it also healed. My past begged for mercy, but my future demanded courage. I didn't say no for Damien. I didn't say no for revenge. I said it for me, For the girl who once cried on the floor and believed she deserved it. For the woman who now stood tall, trembling, but unbroken. I turned away from the door, a strange calm spreading through me, saying no hadn't destroyed me. It had rebuilt me, and this time I wasn't surviving. I was choosing. The whispers reached me through friends, through hushed conversations I wasn't supposed to hear. Clara was getting married. Not to Adrian, not to someone gentle, but to a man whose wealth matched his cruelty. When Anna told me, I almost laughed. Her married already. Anna nodded, lowering her voice. Yes, his name's Victor. He owns half the hotels in the city. Everyone says he's arrogant, sharp-tempered. She looks trapped. Trapped. I repeated softly. She smiles in pictures, Anna said. But it's the kind of smile that hides bruises. I looked down at my glass, so karma doesn't knock, it drags. Anna tilted her head. Do you feel vindicated? I breathed. Slowly. No. I just feel something I can't name. It's not revenge, it's not joy, it's just strange, watching the wheel turn. Later, I found myself telling Damien. He leaned against the balcony rail, his voice calm. So Clara's caged herself. She thought she was climbing higher, I murmured. Instead, she just chose a different prison. He studied me. And you? What do you feel when you think of her walking down that aisle? I hesitated. Not envy. Not anymore. Just sorrow. Not for her, but for the girl I used to be, the one who believed weddings meant salvation. Damien's eyes softened. You don't want to see her suffer. No, I whispered. But I can't save her either. No one saved me when I was drowning. She'll have to find her own strength. He reached for my hand. That's the difference. You found yours? I squeezed his fingers, barely. Barely is enough, he said. Barely is survival. And survival turns into power. The night of her wedding, I didn't plan to go. But Anna insisted. You don't need to speak to her. Witness. Sometimes seeing is closure. So I went. The hall glittered, chandeliers pouring gold onto marble floors. Guests laughed, glasses clinked, music swelled. And there she was, Clara, dressed in ivory silk, diamonds heavy at her throat. She looked radiant, but her eyes darted like a trapped bird. Anna whispered, Do you see it? Yes, I breathed. She looks beautiful, but she's not free. Clara's new husband stood beside her, tall, severe. His hand gripped her arm too tightly, as though she might run. Damien leaned close. That's not love, that's ownership. Stomach twisted. Memories of Adrian's grip, his mocking smile, his voice telling me I was nothing. I swallowed hard. Anna glanced at me. Do you regret not being in her place? I laughed under my breath. No. For the first time, no. Clara's gaze swept the room and for a fleeting second landed on me. Recognition flickered. Her smile faltered. I whispered to myself, You chose this path, Clara. I chose mine. The ceremony went on, vows exchanged, applause filling the hall, but I saw the way her fingers trembled when he slid the ring on her hand. I saw the fear masked beneath mascara and blush. When the crowd cheered, Damien's voice cut through softly. Karma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. I turned to him. Feels cruel to call this karma. It's not cruel. He replied, just inevitable. The lives we build on deception eventually collapse. As the evening went on, laughter and music filled the space. But Clara's smile remained brittle. She leaned close to Victor, pretending. And I remembered all the times I had pretended to. I whispered, almost to myself, I don't hate her anymore. Damien's brow lifted. No, hating her kept me chained, I said. But seeing her now, I just feel pity. Not because I'm better, but because I know the weight she's about to carry. Anna touched my arm gently. Then you've healed more than you think. I exhaled slowly. Maybe healing is just letting go of battles that aren't mine anymore. When the first dance began, Clara's movements were stiff, mechanical. Victor pulled her close, whispering something sharp in her ear. She laughed nervously, the sound brittle, hollow. Damien leaned closer. "That could have been you." "Yes," I said firmly, "but it isn't, and it never will be again." I lifted my glass in a silent toast, not to her, not to him, but to myself, to the choice I made when I finally said no. As we left, the music trailed behind us, muffled by distance. Damien asked quietly, "Do you feel lighter?" "Yes," I admitted, "because for once I'm watching the storm without standing in it." He nodded. "That's freedom." I smiled faintly. "No, that's peace. Freedom is the door. Peace is walking through it." We stepped into the night, the air cool against my skin. I looked up at the stars, a strange mix of sorrow and serenity stirring inside me. Clara had her wedding, but I had something far greater myself. The vows were spoken, the rings exchanged, and when Damien's hand slipped into mine at the altar, I knew this wasn't a rescue, it was a choice. My choice. Our honeymoon was in Santorini, the very place. Adrian once promised to take me back when promises were weapons instead of gifts. The sea stretched endless and blue. The sun melted into whitewashed walls, and Damien's laughter echoed against the cliffs. "Do you like it?" he asked as we stepped onto the balcony of our villa. "I love it," I breathed. "It's not just a place, the fact that I'm here with you, and not with a ghost." He tilted his head. "A ghost, Adrian," I admitted. "He once said we'd come here, but he never meant it." For him, it was leverage, not love. Damien's hand brushed my cheek, and for me, "For you," I whispered, "it's real." We spent the days drifting between beaches, markets, and late-night wine under lanterns. Every moment felt like proof that I had survived. Yet the shadows of memory followed me, tugging at the edges. One afternoon, as we walked through the narrow streets, I stopped suddenly. Damien frowned. "What's wrong?" I swallowed hard. "He's here." Damien turned. And there across the square stood Adrian. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes bloodshot. He froze when he saw me, as though the earth had betrayed him. My heart pounded, but not from fear, from power. Adrian's voice cracked across the distance. Damien's hand slid around my waist, grounding me. He whispered, "You don't owe him anything." But Adrian crossed the square anyway, his desperation palpable. "You married him." His gaze darted to the ring on my hand. "You actually?" "Yes," I said, steady. His face twisted. "You can't be serious. You and me, we were supposed to?" "Supposed to what?" My voice cut sharp. "Supposed to rot in the cage you built. Supposed to shrink so you could stand taller?" "No, Adrian." That story ended. He reached for me, then stopped when Damien's stare hardened. "You don't understand," Adrian begged. "Clara left. My business sits gone. Everything is gone, but you." His voice broke. "You were the only one who ever believed in me." I almost laughed. Believed? No, I begged. I begged you to love me the way I loved you, and you mocked me for it. Do you remember? You told me my tears disgusted you. Adrian's jaw trembled. I was wrong. I see it now. I see what I lost. Damien's voice was calm steel. You lost her the moment you treated her like something to lose. Adrian's eyes burned into mine. Tell me you don't still feel something. Tell me I do feel something, I said, my voice shaking but unbroken. I feel pity, and I feel peace, because looking at you now, I see how small you really are. He flinched. Peace. With him. Yes, I answered. With him. But more importantly, with myself. Adrian's face collapsed in disbelief. This was supposed to be ours. This place, this life. No, I said firmly. It was never ours. It was always just your fantasy, your control. But now I'm living it without you, beyond you. He staggered back, hands trembling. You're punishing me. No, I whispered. This isn't punishment. This is consequence. Silence hung heavy between us. The sea roared against the cliffs, the sun spilling gold over everything except him. He looked hollow, stripped, and in his eyes regret, devastation, disbelief. That was my revenge. Not cruelty, not vengeance, served loud. Just this. Him watching me loved, while he was left with nothing. Damien squeezed my hand. We should go. Nodded, but before turning away, I looked at Adrian one last time. Goodbye. The word left my lips like a blade, sharp and final. He opened his mouth, but no sound came. Just silence, the silence of a man who had gambled everything and lost. As we walked away, Damien whispered, "Are you all right?" I exhaled, a tremor slipping free. Yes, more than all right. I thought seeing him would shatter me, but it didn't. It freed me. He kissed my temple. It's because you're not the same woman anymore. I smiled faintly. No, I'm not the woman he left behind. I'm the woman he'll regret forever. Back at the villa, the sunset bled pink and mauve, and orange across the horizon. I leaned on the balcony, the breeze tangling through my hair. Damien wrapped his arms around me, his warmth anchoring me in the present. I whispered, almost to myself, "This is my honeymoon, my revenge." Damien's lips brushed my ear. "Then let the past drown in the sea. You're mine now, and you're free." I closed my eyes, letting the sound of waves carry away the last shards of Adrian's shadow. For once, the only weight I felt was the ring on my hand. It didn't cage me. It crowned me. The night was quiet, the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty but whole. I sat on the balcony, overlooking the city lights below, the ring on my finger glinting in the glow. For the first time in years, I felt no weight pressing on my chest. Damien stepped out, setting 2 cups of tea on the table. "You've been quiet," he said gently. "I've been thinking. It's dangerous," he teased, sitting beside me. I smiled faintly. "Not dangerous, necessary." He tilted his head. "About Adrian?" "No," I answered, and the word surprised even me. For once, not about him. Damien's lips curved. "Then what?" "About me, about the woman I became." He reached for my hand. "Tell me." I exhaled, my thoughts spilling. I used to think survival was the same as living. Back then, when Adrian tore me apart piece by piece, I believed if I could just keep breathing, it would be enough. But it wasn't. Damien's thumb brushed over my knuckles, and now I know I was wrong. Survival was just the beginning. Living is this. I gestured at the night, the peace in my chest, the warmth in his presence. It's choosing myself, even when it terrifies me, especially when it terrifies me. He studied me with quiet pride. "So you don't regret any of it?" I paused, the memories flickering, tears, betrayal, scars. "I regret trusting someone who thrived on breaking me, but I don't regret what came after. If I hadn't been destroyed, I wouldn't have rebuilt myself." Damien leaned closer. "You didn't rebuild. You transformed." His words lingered, and for once I didn't shrink from them. "Do you know what the hardest part was?" I asked. "What?" "Letting go of the girl who begged for scraps of love. She was so desperate, so willing to shrink to nothing just to be noticed. I pitied her for so long. But now I honor her, because she endured what should have killed her. And because of her, I'm here." Damien's eyes softened. "She's still you." "She was, but she's gone. I buried her the day I learned how to say no." He nodded slowly. "And now?" I said, my voice steady, "I don't cry for Adrian anymore. I don't envy Clara. Their ghosts can circle me all they want, but they don't touch me. They don't define me. I do." Damien lifted his cup, almost like a toast, "To you, too. The woman you became." I clinked my cup against his. "To her." The steam curled between us, carrying the scent of jasmine. I sipped, letting the warmth settle inside me. After a long pause, Damien asked, "What do you see when you look at yourself now?" I closed my eyes, searching for the answer. I see strength. Not the loud kind that crushes everything, but the quiet kind that endures. I see respect, not from others, but from myself. And I see freedom, the kind I thought I'd never taste again. He whispered, "That's beautiful." "It's real," I replied. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The world felt suspended as though it was listening. Finally, I broke the silence. "Do you know what I've realized?" "What's that?" "I wasn't just surviving Adrian. I wasn't just surviving the heartbreak or the betrayal. I was surviving myself, my fear, my dependence, my silence. And when I finally said no, when I finally walked away, I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was reborn." Damien's gaze caught mine, fierce and tender. "I love the woman you became." I felt the words settle deep inside, not as a crutch, but as a gift. "I love her too," I said, and for the first time I meant it. The city lights flickered like 1,000 witnesses, the night cradling me in its vastness. I remembered every wound, every scar, every tear shed in the dark. And instead of shame, I felt reverence, because those tears watered the ground I grew from. Because those scars mapped the journey I survived. Because that broken girl had given birth to this woman, me. Damien reached over, cupping my cheek. "So what happens now?" "Now," I smiled softly. "Now I live. Without apologies, without chains. I carry the past, but it no longer carries me." His thumb traced my jaw. "That sounds like freedom." "It is," I whispered. We sat there, cups empty, silence stretching into something sacred. I leaned against him, not because I needed to, but because I wanted to. There's a difference, and I finally understood it. I closed my eyes, whispering the words I had been waiting to claim. I didn't just survive, was reborn.